It's triple header action with a global flair, as HBO's Boxing After Dark offers up a little something for everyone. Did someone say knockouts? Meet Sergey Kovalev, one of the most talked about and violent performers in the sport. Just hours ago in Cardiff, Wales, he entered the Lion's Den to take on local hero and 175-pound champion Nathan Клеверли. Boxer versus puncher? We've got it covered, as 122-pound champ Jonathan Romero of Colombia takes on hard-punching Spaniard Kiko Martinez. And finally, for fans of a talented and exciting middleweight division, we offer up Aussie titleist Daniel Geale's face-off with Englishman Darren Barker. It's a jam-packed triple header, courtesy of HBO Boxing. And we welcome you to this HBO Boxing After Dark triple header. Hello again, I'm Jim Lampley. 3 potentially excellent fights coming your way. 2 of them live from here on the boardwalk at Atlantic City, and the other just recently taped from Cardiff, Wales. In the main event, yet to come later tonight, 160-pound showdown. It is a crowded, talent-rich division. Daniel Geale of Australia has a title belt, makes his first appearance in the United States here tonight. Darren Barker has had the experience of fighting on the boardwalk before. Tremendously even matchup on paper. We'll see if Geale can hold on to his title belt one more night and look potentially down the road toward bigger fights in the middleweight division with the likes of Gennady Golovkin or the champion Sergio Martinez. Before that, also live here in Atlantic City, 122-pound showdown between Jonathan Romero, a superior boxer from Colombia, and Kiko Martinez, a power puncher from Spain. Romero is regarded as the favorite in the fight and may loom as a potential opponent down the road at 122 for Guillermo Rigondeaux, the Cuban kingpin of the division at this moment. And before we get to those 2 fights, we're going to go back to just a couple of hours ago in Cardiff, Wales. A tremendously exciting matchup between puncher Sergey Kovalev, the Russian from Fort Lauderdale, and superior boxer Nathan Клеверли, unbeaten 175-pound title holder from Wales. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for Kovalev and Клеверли. And you'll see that Клеверли had a 4-year age advantage going into the fight, a height advantage of 2 inches, an arm length advantage of 1 inch measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. They weighed in at or 1 or 2 pounds under the 175-pound limit, which doesn't, or what doesn't show up on this picture here is Kovalev's expected advantage in punching power, but would it be enough on Cleverly's home court? A hot night in Cardiff, Wales. Great excitement there. Let's go to the beginning of the fight. A sellout crowd in the Motor Point Arena in Cardiff, Wales for the matchup between Nathan Клеверли, 175-pound title holder in the blue trunks, Sergey Kovalev, the challenger in the red. Kovalev enters with 9 knockouts in his last 10 fights, 8 of those knockouts within 3 rounds. He has emerged as one of the most impressive punchers in boxing. Клеверли slightly taller and longer, a high-volume puncher, maybe slightly the more accurate puncher than Kovalev, but a big question here, can Клеверли hit hard enough to get Kovalev's attention and keep him off of him when he needs to do his work? They start off at a high work rate in round number 1, and Kovalev is letting his hands go early. 2 left hooks by Kovalev, knocking Клеверли back.
When Kovalev gets the call about a fight, a potential fight, his manager tells me he only ever has 2 questions: the date and the weight. So confident is Kovalev in his ability right now against anyone in the division. Клеверли, for his part, agrees with Kovalev. Kovalev's the most dangerous challenge at light heavyweight, but Клеверли says at age 26, he's built up enough experience to be let off the leash.
Both of them tremendously confident fighters. Roy Jones, what do you see in the early going?
So far, I don't see Клеверли doing what I would like to see him do. He's taken a lot of punches from Kovalev. However, it is causing Kovalev to put out more than I'm used to seeing him put out. But at the same time, I would think Клеверли would have used his height advantage and his reach advantage to stay away from the power shots early and try to outbox the stronger puncher early. However, this may not be his plan. His plan may just simply be to work him down, take him into deep water, and try to beat him.
Took about 30 seconds for Клеверли to begin to unveil his jab. That began to give him a little bit of distance, and broke up Kovalev's early tempo a little bit, but still, Sergey Kovalev tremendously aggressive in the early going, and why not, given the confidence he's built for himself in his last several fights.
And Jim, you mentioned the accuracy. I actually think Kovalev has subtle skill that he's not given credit for in terms of his timing and accuracy. Little steps back he takes so he doesn't take as many counters, maybe fewer than people realize. And that accuracy and timing, I think, has bothered Cleverly early.
Well, it has, and like I said, to me, I don't understand why Cleverly is fighting this fight like he's a puncher and staying right in front of Kovalev. That's exactly what I didn't expect from Cleverly, unless he has a plan down the line that we're not sure of.
CompuBox numbers already crediting Kovalev with landing more than 30 punches in the round. Cleverly's been getting off a little bit too in the last minute, but Kovalev remains the aggressor, as you see there, driving Cleverly back into the corner. Body shot from Kovalev. He's been mixing it up upstairs and downstairs. That was a terrific first round for Sergey Kovalev. Cleverly's trainer is his father, Vince Cleverly, a former jazz musician colleague of Enzo Calzaghe, and that was how Cleverly got into boxing. He walked into the Calzaghe's gym at the behest of his father, who said, "You might like this," and lo and behold, he did. And just like Enzo Calzaghe, Vince Cleverly made the transition from musician to boxing trainer.
Jim, you've made the comment that Calzaghe, it's fitting, had a kind of jazzy style. Cleverly's got a little bit of that in him too, especially later in fights.
10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 2.
CompuBox numbers in round 1. Kovalev got off 95 punches, landed 35 of them by CompuBox count. He begins round 2 with the right hand. Cleverly was 13 of 55. He's the guy who's been averaging 80-plus punches per round coming in. So the early initiative was definitely seized here by Sergey Kovalev.
Kovalev's never been past 8 rounds. And Cleverly's game plan is to see how he does after that 8th round.
Yeah, but for Cleverly, you don't want to get so banged up before the 8 rounds comes into play. Right now, he's very red around the eyes, very red around the forehead area.
Shoulder, the left shoulder.
Which means he's taking a lot of unnecessary punishment early.
It might not be a 9th round.
Sergey Kovalev from Chelyabinsk, Russia, and with a Russian amateur background, showed up in Don Turner's Eastern North Carolina camp in 2009. One of his first questions for Turner was, "I'm not sure I punch hard enough for professional boxing." After a few days, Turner said, "Rest assured, young man, you punch hard enough."
And he's cut over his right eye already. I'm not sure if it's a headbutt or a punch, but Kovalev has a cut above the right eye.
Could have come from the jab of Cleverly, which has been good when he's allowed his left hand to go.
Is that over the eye, Roy, or is that on the forehead?
There it is, over the eye.
It's over the eye, right.
Yep. So an advantage early now for Cleverly. Kovalev was the one who's landing all the leather in the first round, but he's the one who's bleeding on a cut above the right eye.
Cleverly's doing a good job of taking Kovalev's shots right now. That's another thing that may be in his plan, because a lot of times when a puncher sees that he can't really hurt you, it gives him a problem, or it takes away from some of the confidence of his punch.
Kovalev's mouthpiece drops. Trainer John David Jackson puts it back in.
For a guy dishing out so much punishment, he's got a cut on his right eye. His mouthpiece is coming out.
Don't look good, does it?
Kovalev, though, Roy, does a good job, as Jim mentioned, of mixing it up to the body and getting some clean body shots in along the way. So even if you can take the shots upstairs early, that doesn't mean you can late.
According to our notes, this is the first time Sergey Kovalev has been cut in a professional fight. Boy Jones, Kovalev's trainer now is your friend, John David Jackson, who was trained to be a trainer by the late, great George Benton, has been known throughout his career as something of a defensive master. And And there's Cleverly landing a solid straight right hand. What about the marriage of an offensive fighter, a puncher like Kovalev, with a defensively skilled trainer like John David Jackson?
It's a beautiful marriage because most punchers have very little defense. So when you go get a defensive guy to help train that puncher, you make him into a truly devastating opponent or a person, because now he has offense and defense to match it. However, right here what I'm seeing is that Kovalev is throwing a lot of punches, more than he's used to throwing.
Although, to your point, Roy, Cleverly landed one right hand and it drew oohs and ahs because he's been hit so little so far, Kovalev has, through the first 2 rounds.
September 28, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. returns to the ring against hard-charging Brian Vera, and Adonis Stevenson, fresh off his title-winning knockout of Chad Dawson, will take on former champ Taboris Cloud. 1 week later, Miguel Cotto makes his ring return against Delvin Rodriguez, and Vladimir Klitschko takes on Alexander Povetkin in a long-awaited heavyweight championship title defense.
You were the champ, come on.
Now, we couldn't see for sure who was doing the cut work in Kovalev's corner, but our notes say that it is the longtime veteran Don Turner, former trainer of Evander Holyfield, and a number of other noteworthy fighters. And Don is a complete pro who certainly is capable of doing a great job with Kovalev's gut.
To pick up the discussion from earlier, Roy, it remains to be seen here how Kovalev relaxes through the fight. He looked in the corner to me, maybe a little concerned. He's cut for the first time. He's breathing through his mouth in the corner, not panting, but he's throwing a lot of punches, as you mentioned. The guy's still in front of him punching back.
Right. Well, Cleverly, however, as you can tell, is looking forward to pushing him into the deep water. Cleverly obviously doesn't believe that Kovalev can hold up for more than 8 rounds, or he wouldn't be taking all these punches this early. He's taking a lot of punishment early, but it's also causing Kovalev to put out more than he's used to having to do.
Kovalev landed 35 of 95 punches in the first round. He was 24 out of 86 in the second round. So in the first 2 rounds, it is Kovalev who has averaged 90 punches thrown per round. Cleverly, averaging only 44 punches per round. He's 24 out of 88 after 2 rounds, and he's the guy who, coming in, had shown a very fast pace with a lot of punch output in his last few fights. Big right hand over the top by Kovalev, just missed, landing solidly.
Yeah, but as he threw that right hand, Jim, that's the first hard punch he had thrown in a moment. His punches are starting to lose steam. He throws one hard right hand right there, but the rest of his punches really don't have the steam on them that they had in round 1. Only that right hand, but if he connects with that right hand, it could be deadly. But everything else has died already, which is definitely working right into Cleverly's plan.
Yeah, and Cleverly's gone 12 rounds 5 times. He's fought in front of crowds who supported him like this one. It's Kovalev who's on the road.
Hard left hook by Kovalev, momentarily stunned Cleverly. Comes back with another barrage, trying to go to the body to further weaken Cleverly after that big left hook.
And great body work by Kovalev as well.
Hard right hand, and down goes Cleverly. First knockdown of the fight, and just as we thought Kovalev might be wilting a little bit, he produced another powerful burst.
He better go ahead and try to finish him here, because if he doesn't, he's going to have his hands full in the next 2 or 3 rounds.
And how he goes about trying to finish him could be key. Not loading up too much, not punching himself out, mixing it up downstairs.
Down again, Cleverly on the canvas for the second time in the round. These are the first 2 knockdowns of his professional career.
I think he's in bad trouble now. That shot going down at the end when he got hit, while he was down, body shot. Bad body shot.
There, Kovalev showing good finishing instincts, throwing that hard hook to the body.
Both previous performances this year were 3rd-round knockouts, and this referee may have stopped the fight. I can't tell.
I think saved by the bell, Jim.
Wow. He waved his arms as though he was going to stop it.
That's called saved by the bell.
That's called hometown cooking.
Yeah, and with a little help from the ref.
That was almost a 3rd consecutive 3rd-round knockout for Kovalev. The referee is Terry O'Connor from England.
Corners 10 seconds.
There's the left hook that started all the damage. And Roy,
Accuracy of that punch.
It was a cross jab more than a hook. But I think he'll finish him now because he did go to the body very good that round. And I think that'll help weaken Cleverly even more.
and as round 4 begins, Cleverly's still in trouble.
See how he's going at the body? He knows he hurt Cleverly to the body at the end of that last round. And body shots are not easy to recover from like head shots are.
Too much. This is too much, and referee Terry O'Connor has stopped the fight. This time it is over, and Sergey Kovalev has a 4th-round TKO, and he made it look easy.
Very easy.
Well, we still don't know how he'll respond if taken past 8, but good luck taking him past 8.
Like I said, I think Cleverly's plan was to try to make him work past 8, but Cleverly didn't realize the extent of punishment that he'd have to endure to get past 8.
A little bit later this fall, newly installed light heavyweight lineal champion Adonis Stevenson has a test coming up against Tavoris Cloud. If Stevenson can bet past Cloud, the clamor for Stevenson to fight Kovalev is going to be growing and loud. That would be a sensational matchup.
The best matchup at the top level between 2 pure punchers that you can make in boxing right now.
I agree.
All right, Roy Jones, take us through the replays.
Well, he threw a right hand right here. As he threw this right hand, he missed. He came out with a cross hook. That hook really hurt Cleverly. Well, he's down right there already. But he hit him with a cross jab in the round before that really hurt him. Here he just followed up on his work, hit him with a good left hook on the back of the head. Cleverly was pretty much done, weakened, and the body shots really are what did it for Kovalev.
Well, if there was any question about whether Sergey Kovalev was for real enough to function in a hostile environment against a world-class opponent, that question has been wiped out.
Totally.
So it's the 10th knockout in the last 11 fights for Kovalev.
Wiped out, like he's had 22 pro fights with 1 draw, so 21 wins, now 22 wins, and 20 knockouts.
And 9 of those 10 knockouts in the last 11 fights have come within 4 rounds or less. And against opponents like Campillo and Cleverly, who both know how to defend themselves.
Exactly.
And the point about John David Jackson's a good one. Kovalev's scary because he does have these, for a kind of straight-ahead destroyer-type fighter. Not only is he offensively skilled, mixing it up upstairs and down, both hands, coming in behind the jab, accurate, but he does these subtle defensive maneuvers, taking half steps back, as we mentioned, that, you know, he's winning the rounds as he's beating the guy up and knocking him out.
So Kovalev now holds a title belt to use as a bargaining chip in mounting further business in the light heavyweight division, a division that is becoming more interesting with each passing week.
Ladies and gentlemen, 29 seconds of round 4, your referee stopped the contest. He did make the Cleverly was in no position to continue. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner from Tel Aviv, Russia and the new WBO light heavyweight champion of the world, Sergey Kovalev.
What a story. Sergey Kovalev. Kovalev turns down the opportunity to wait as a mandatory for a fight with Bernard Hopkins. Takes short money to go across the Atlantic to challenge Nathan Cleverly on his home turf and knocks him out. A tremendous performance, and here are the numbers. Tripled the number of landed punches for Cleverly, 100 to 67. Virtually tripled the number of thrown punches, 297 to 128. Landed at a significantly higher connect percentage. Made his point and made it in the way in which he's made his point in virtually every fight so far. Look at the power punching numbers. Landed 66, tasted only 11. 1 fight in the books and 2 still to come here on HBO's Boxing After Dark. A beautiful summer weekend.